How's your trading?
Been pretty good. Today I gave back a little bit, but I was green pretty good and gave back a little more than I wanted to, just kind of being sloppy. But and I kind of did the same thing. I was up green pretty good. I gave back a little bit on Monday too, but yesterday was pretty awesome.
I missed the one yesterday. What did you trade?
Uh, what did I? I don't even remember actually. Um, I got to move on Baba. I missed. Oh, I got a really good. Was it yesterday? No. I didn't even screenshot my trades, but yesterday I got a really quick little move on Baba, and I think on Tesla I got a pretty good trade. And then the FOMO from yesterday was this short at S4. Shorted this thing, and I just cut it too soon, just over managing the position, and just missed
What
the
is that?
call.
You up?
The purple line,
Mhm.
that's the 9MA on the 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I look.
I
Mhm.
remember you said you were trying not to scalp anymore, right? How's that been going?
It's not complete. Not completely no scalping.
That's true.
No, but it's going a lot better. My trading is improving.
Yeah, you're trading most of the momentum stocks now.
Yeah, and I'll still take some scalps at the open, but like for instance, here was today. So normally I'll be partialing into the first, uh, pop and the pop through the high day, but today I just kind of held it pretty well. Just because it was smaller size, so I don't care if it comes back to break even. I just can let it go and just
Yeah,
let the trade do the work, let the market do the work.
that one was uptrending, wasn't it? So usually when it consolidates, right? I'm just guessing because this is what you see where if it consolidates near a resistance level like it did there, and then it breaks out, isn't it more just long biased and a continuation of the trend rather than you
Hmm.
counter trend like you would do with a small cap?
Yeah,
So there, like when it
because
did that,
yeah,
right, from like 11:10 to whatever, was it consolidating in that area and it broke? Did you buy that?
right at 11 here. Is this what you're saying? This spot?
Yeah, so it consolidated there,
Hmm.
kind of. I'm
Hmm.
surprised you didn't. Uh, okay, you bought it at that trend line break
Yeah,
rather than just like the horizontal level
yeah. Because I don't want to buy the breakout. I want to buy the dip, the curl,
on the 9. Okay.
because the breakout usually fails.
Yeah, because like right there, like 3 candles before you longed it, there was a trap, a short trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
see
that was
that.
a
Okay.
signal.
That they wanted to do more. Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
on the big caps, you see all these seller traps. Like here it goes down to the 9 or to the J lines, pops up, and then it makes a new low. It makes a new 1 minute low, and then it traps, and then it got as many short sellers as it could, making the short sellers believe that it was going to go lower, and this thing just went.
Yeah, so that one you would go for the curl.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing, well, I wouldn't buy up here on the curl. I'd be trying to
No,
buy
there. Yeah, right around there.
at the pivot or the apex of it. Um, but yeah, the thing with big caps is it's not like some shit company that everyone's trying to sell, and they're trying to raise capital. MU with all these like shortages of the circuit boards. I mean, this is a really great company. So when it's trading on certain days, the algos and computers, they're just buying it all day.
Mhm.
So you know, you get this situation here where this is at 10 o'clock, so there was some earlier trading, but this blue dotted line is pre-market high. And this thing was pulling on the J lines. I didn't want to take it long here because it's like below VWAP, so you got to be careful because you could get into a trap there. But yeah, it was above the J lines, holding the J lines the whole time. So I just saw this longer consolidation. You know, it wasn't a quick flag and like it wasn't like a quick little, you know, move like this and then you enter here and then it goes. This I saw it was doing a longer consolidation, and I saw that it trapped here one time. So that means that when it's going to go, it might try to, you know, do some fake moves. So I took it here. I actually set my stop loss down here, but I would have cut it probably around here at 89 bucks if it was failing.
This was a
just
scalp
like-
though.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it an intraday scalp because I was only in the trade for 15 minutes. I mean, it wasn't a 1 minute scalp. It was a little bit bigger of a move.
Oh, okay. You're only selling partial in those red arrows. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
So
you
I
added
went
a
long here, sell, 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 add on the 9,
okay.
sell, add. So I really was risking about, this was a really awesome trade because just like I was telling you guys about building the positions here, I was risking $25 here because I was like, I don't know if this thing's going to work, if the market's just going to chop. Like I didn't want to do full risk. So I was only risking 25 bucks here, but with this and these ads, I made 250 bucks on that trade.
Wow. Nice. And you were doing like what, 1/3 of the position on those ads, or 1/4?
No, actually, on these ads, I was doing big size. So like this was maybe a couple hundred shares or something. I don't remember. I think maybe 200 shares this was. And then when I was getting up to here and here, I think I was adding 400 or 600 shares. So like my average cost was down here. And then when I did this ad, my average cost came right up below the 9 MA. So that way, if it broke the 9, I would just get out. I'd be out at break even. But if it kept going, then I can really, you know, stand to make a lot more. So I
But
brought my
you-
average cost from here up to the 9.
You had a stop loss though, right?
Yeah, always with the stop loss. Or
With a
I mean,
market
maybe
order
stop
or a
loss.
limit?
I use stop markets.
I didn't someone just recently did that, and then they got they got ordered at the worst. Like they top tick somewhere at a certain price that because it was a
Yeah.
market order. You know,
It can
Like,
happen.
yeah, so
Sometimes-
wouldn't the limit order be better?
Well, sometimes it's like, sometimes it like doesn't fill your stop loss for some reason. I don't know. I've seen it do that. That's very rare that it happens, but yeah, I think that with the market order, I know that it's gonna get filled. Do I get slippage? Yeah, especially if you do it like right in the opening minutes. Let's say your first trade, you're risking 200 bucks and it's a really tight stop. Well, when it's moving so fast, with the slippage of the stop, I mean, you might be losing instead of 200 bucks, you might lose 250, 275.
Yeah, but you're also giving control to the market makers as to where they execute you, since it's a market order though, right? So you kind of on that
Yeah.
risk too. You do with the limit orders.
Yeah, but since I have IB, Interactive Brokers, they're like one of the best when it comes to fills and execution, I would say. Not for borrows of hard to borrow stocks, but when you're trading big caps, they're pretty reliable. They're one of the biggest, I would say, in the U.S. So, yeah, I think they do a good job. But, I mean,
Okay.
every broker sucks at times, but yeah, they seem to do a good job.
Okay, that's fair. I'm still like deciding whether a stop limit order is like better than a stop market order. So
Yeah, really, it doesn't make a huge difference for me. I like it being a market because I know I will get out. So, if I don't know, if something weird happens, because I've seen it skip through orders before, but I don't know how it does that. But it's happened before. So ever since then, I'm like, nope, I'm just using the stop market.
There's also another one, isn't there? They're like a stop trailing order. I don't know how that works, but
Yeah. So there's like trailing, like let's see here. Show you a trailing. So
have you used that yet, or do you have a lot of experience with that?
yeah, I don't use it a lot, but so like let's say, let's see, where's the spread? It's 10 cents. So let's say like at this line right here, this is my support, I believe, and I think that this is going to go back up, right? So I'll take this thing out here, and then I will, let's say we want to risk 50 bucks on this trade, so I go like this. And there's our stop loss. This is where it filled us because there's a pretty high spread right now. But if the price goes down to here, then we will lose 50 bucks. So now let's say you took like this trade here, and it's starting to work, and you take your first partial, and instead of moving to break even, you want to trail like up the 9. So you can use a trailing stop loss that every time it ticks up, the stop loss moves up. Every time it ticks down, the stop loss doesn't move down. So if you're grinding up higher like this, your stop loss is gonna like climb with it.
That's relative to the percentage of how high it goes up.
No, just if the price is moving up. So when it starts to pull back, your stop loss doesn't move anymore.
Yeah, I know, but like if there's one green candle that went up 20 cents, it'll move up, let's say like 10 cents up. But it'll move up 20 cents. But then if the next candle moves up 10 cents, it'll only move up an extra 10 cents.
Yep. And then if the next candle moves down 10 cents, it doesn't move down 10 cents.
Yeah, okay.
So like let's say now we're gonna move the trailing to here. I think it's just, let's see. I'm not sure if it works right now. But anyways, it'll show this here, and then once the price starts moving up, you'll see the stop loss start moving up with it.
That kind of sucks then, because if it's trading in like a specific pattern, and it's like,
yeah, that's why I don't use it that much.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I just set range orders. So if I want to have my stop loss at 93 and I think that it's going to wherever, I can just do that, like I showed you here, a range order like that, and then I can just say, okay, well, I'm leaving the house, so I need to, tighten this. So I go like that, and I'm like, okay, I don't think it's going to go up there. I want it here, and now I want to move my stop loss up here. So you can just move around the range.
Yeah, that's better. I like that one. That's the market one, order one.
Yeah, that's the defined risk hockey. It's actually not a market. That's a limit with a few cents on it, 5 cents added.
Interesting. Okay.
Hey guys.
Cool. Thanks.
So, but Eric, the range one, it doesn't move, does it? You set it and that's it. You leave it there.
Yeah, the range one doesn't move. But like if you like leave the house, at least you know you're either gonna, let's say I'm green in the position. I'd set the range order and I can move my stop loss in the money and then my target above. So if it hits my target, it cancels my stop loss. But if it comes down and hits my stop loss in the money, it cancels my target to the top side, so it doesn't drag me into any trades.
But I would say that's the trailing one would be better now in this case, because then it's sort of, you've got like unlimited potential in your favor with minimal risk basically. Because once you set range, it's like, you either gonna go, of course it's gonna be in the money, but it's still, you're risking like it's going all the way down sort of thing, and then coming back and stopping you out sort of thing.
But if it's doing a channel, right, like if it's doing a channel and you're expect, like, you leave the house and you expect that it does that channel for a bit, and then you expect a breakout sooner or later. If you're doing a trailing and it goes above the bottom of that channel, it doesn't really give you that room to let it wiggle around, I think.
But
that's exactly why I don't use it as much, because if you use the trailing stop too tight, it will shake you out, and then you can miss a big run. But if you use it too wide, you're giving back a lot.
Yeah, like something like this, right? You see that channel right there? If you had a trailing stop and it moved up every single time, where you could expect it to move up like right there, but instead, because you're trailing, it probably like got you out like right there. It
Yeah,
doesn't give
exactly.
that room.
That's why I don't really use it that much. Sometimes I do, but really I just set a range order. And
Well, I think it'd be useful if it was going on a trend, but if it's on the channel, it's, But a trend play, that I think I'd use that for that. That's still a market order though. If you do get,
I don't believe so, but you can adjust it either way. Let's see. You can
nifty.
adjust it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure on DAS you can do that. Adjust it whichever way you want it. It's pretty
Maybe it's just one type.
customizable.
See, this is it right here. You go to stop, and then you go to trailing stop. And trailing price. I'm not sure exactly, but I believe maybe it's just a limit.
How did you do that, Eric?
Right here, I press stop on the montage. Go to stop, and then and then you go down here for the stop type, and you can choose if you want market, limit, trailing, range market, and I like range market
Range market, okay.
because like I was saying, let's say we wanna trade this. Let's say we go to Tesla real quick, and we want to buy, let's say you want to buy 20 shares of Tesla, and now here you can turn on DAS to show your average cost. You see that, how the 876 right there appeared? That's our
Yeah.
average cost, which that's a pretty cool little thing to do. If you guys
Yeah.
are using DAS, make sure to turn this on, because then you always see on the chart where your average cost is. You don't have to look to the order window.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's I always look at the window to see
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
my entry.
I used to for so long as well. I think so. Just right click on the chart, go to config, and go all the way to the bottom. And actually, maybe that's not it. Hang on. Okay, yeah. So go right click and go to chart area, and then configuration area of the chart, and then go all the way to the bottom. And then let's see, a position average cost line setting. So just check that on, and then you can choose the line style, and then that way
Wow.
when it shows your average cost.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, and then the other thing, you just go to stop, you choose like stop range, and let's say we want the low of our range here to be 874, and then we think that this thing is going to go back to the high, which is 884, and then you choose, since we bought, we're going to be selling, so choose sell, and then there you go. And you can enable the chart to like move these things around if you want to.
Oh. So, but every time when you enter a trade, you have to set it up first, right?
Yeah, you do, unless you use my hotkeys, and then all you have to do is just double click on the chart, and then you just press like that,
Yeah.
and it does, I just press one button on the keyboard and it sets the whole thing. So that's why the hotkeys are super important.
Yeah.
Any other technical questions? What do you guys want to look at? MU was strong today. I don't know if you guys saw that or traded that, but this thing was awesome.
That's not momentum stock, is it?
No, it's just a big cap.
What's the news on that?
Probably no news. Maybe there was some.
Oh.
I'm not sure if there was any. things on there. MU delivers the world's most advanced something. That was on 122. Did anybody else trade MU today? Nobody? Do you guys like keep a large watch list on the side of your watch list of the big caps?
Yeah, I do, Eric. I have him in my watch list, but I didn't touch it.
Okay. Yeah, you guys like every day you see this like list that I have here. I guess I can, if you guys want to screenshot this, we can. I mean,
Yeah, I have almost similar. I have SPY, WIGS, QQQ, then all the stocks I normally trade.
yeah, so like this is all the stuff that I normally watch and trade. Exactly. Sometimes I take some on and off. It's in no like order. But what I do is I'll just, let's say I pick my two stocks, or Jay says, okay, we're trading Tesla, Nvidia, and Apple. Okay, that's obvious. We trade that every single day. But besides that, what I do is I scan through this list like this, and then I will see like, okay, Wish was 20 million shares traded, and it's down 6.2%. Maybe I'll go check on something. And then today, as I'm scanning through, I see that MU was strong. And then knowing that MU is strong because it's a microchip company, then I know AMD probably should be performing, which AMD got beat up pretty bad the past day, so it popped up. And then also Nvidia should be performing. But MU, I know, compared to all the other ones, has been holding on better than any than Nvidia or AMD in this whole like disruption in the market that we've been in recently, where a lot of stocks sold down a whole bunch. Look at MU has just kind of been this year, holding near the highs. Where if you like look at Nvidia, it's just getting beat up. Same thing with AMD, and then you go back and look at MU, and it's like holding near these highs.
So I was looking MD, AMD, and MU, everyone in the pre-market. I mean, before the market opened. So I found they are all within the previous day range.
Yeah,
so
they
I,
were.
Yeah, I just left them. So I was just started focusing on Square. So Square was opening almost close to below previous day range. So I took Square.
Yeah, I saw a few people trade Square. I didn't trade it. Where was it? Let's see here.
Square, I got a nice short in the morning.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. Yeah, it had a pretty tight range, and then it left the range right here
Yeah.
at the open, so that was good. And then let's see, on the 5-minute shot down, and then it pulled back up to VWAP. It kind of chopped around there and rejected. And then what did it do? An S4 breakout after that. See here, it dipped down to S4, kind of got right through it, bought back up, couldn't make it back up to support 3, Camarillo pivot point support 3, and then it pulled back down. And once you start breaking S4 again, you know you can run.
Yeah, correct.
And same thing that happened with MU, but to the flip side, you see, MU curled up, ran into R4, and then it made this wedge, like this ascending kind of flag pattern right here. And that's where I kind of drew a trend line like that. And then once it was breaking up higher, I knew R4 was here too. I knew the 200 on the 5 was creating support here and VWAP. So take it long here. And then I just over added to the trade here, and I got stopped out at break even. with my kind of aggressive adding style that I'm still improving on and figuring out. But I over added and then I missed this whole run here. And then I came back later today and I got a few good moves. But yeah, this was I missed another good chunk of this move.
Yeah, so for Square, yeah, I had a couple of errors in my trade. Yeah, so I got a nice entry in the beginning. I was watching that pre-market levels here. Just 1 second. Yeah, so here this was my pre-market low level. I have already drew on my chart, and I was watching for that level, and I got here exactly. So that is here in the options. There is 120 puts expiring this way, and I took one out somewhere around this area. That is here, and actually I did an error over here. I added there. So yeah,
Where did you add? Was it down here, huh?
here, this arrow.
Oh, that was it right here.
Yeah, that error. So actually, I knew it was an error, so I just wanted to buy only one, but instead of one, I bought two, and then I got panicked immediately, and I sold one directly over here, and then I sold out everything over here. But it could have been so that is I sold out everything here. That was also an error. I just wanted to sell only one, but I mean two entries were already there in the montage, and I just clicked sell button. So I didn't notice that when I had to. I was supposed to remove just only one. So I missed all this whole move. So that
Yeah.
see, and that's fine. It's part of the game, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah. So
Dude, it took me so long to even be able to stay in the trend without somehow messing it up. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
because
sometimes you can just buy it and close your eyes and walk away, which that's
Yeah.
not real technique, you know. But managing yourself in a trend, I mean, it took me so long before.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was supposed to re-enter over here again because but the problem was I mean I'm trading with a very small account now because I was traveling the last week. So I was as part of my job I was traveling. So what I did was I wired out my account to back to my bank because I mean traveling, and if I see some move on the phone, I I may try to
Oh,
take it trade.
so you can't blow up the account, you're saying, or?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly. So I just
Oh,
kept,
that's smart.
yeah, I just kept only $1,000 in my account, and I transferred that amount back to my trading account, but that is still not tradable. So I'm trading with just $1,000 the
Yeah,
whole.
that's okay.
Yeah,
Well, keep it up. I mean, you get close to those $1,000 days more often, you'll be traveling first class in no time.
sure. Yeah, I think I have so far 14 days, 14 or 15 green days.
In a row? That's great, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's good discipline, and are you waiting till later in the day, or are you just keeping the wide stop if the trade is working against you?
Oh, what's it, Eric? I didn't understand.
Like, are you taking trades later in the day, or are you still trading it near the open at like 9:45?
Yeah, I'm still trading near the open. So if you go back to one more chart I sent, that was my yesterday's trade. So I'm just no, I mean just looking for only for the trades or stocks which are in above or below previous day range. So even yesterday also I was looking on some of the stocks, but I found everything is in PDR, and then suddenly I found this Occidental Petroleum. It was almost above the previous day, and I took a trade on Oxy yesterday.
Yeah, Oxy was probably really strong. I haven't checked it. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think I have already sent that chart too.
nice. Let's see, was Oxy on there? Yeah, Oxy, I bet, has been so strong with this oil news.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really great that you So like if you start losing, what do you do? Do you kind of size down or readjust? Like how do you prevent it from being losing?
Being losing, yeah, no, normally nowadays I start with, I mean, for the last couple of weeks, I start with small size and I add if it is going on my direction. And yeah, I cut it out if it is going against me.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, yesterday Oxy had a nice move in the morning and I got that one.
Yeah, that was a great move on it. Sometimes this thing can move a lot and it doesn't trade very good, but yeah, it looks like the past few days it has.
Yeah, you know, a couple of years ago, I mean, in 2020, Oxy was just $8, $9, $10.
Yeah. But I've been avoiding the open lately because every day I start when I trade the open, I've been losing more. My accuracy at the open is way low right now because there's so many like fake moves and traps. And lately I've been when start losing, I start to size down to not make the losses worse. And then maybe I'll take a trade on small size and another one. And then if I see a really good setup and the past couple trades have worked, then I put in big size, and then I can get out of losing day.
Okay.
I can turn the losing day into a green day pretty quickly. But yeah, lately I've been having to avoid the open because it's just not even worth it. It's so choppy sometimes. Right now.
Yeah. So yeah, that is I mean that's why Jay is always saying no. I mean, look for previous day range. So if it is below previous range or above previous range, I have noticed that, I mean, it gives a good nice run straight away.
Yeah. If
Below,
it's
yeah.
above or below, you said.
No, if it is above, I mean, it is it always hits a long, and if opens below previous day range, then it gives a short opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, today was choppy at the open, and it's not worth it to try to trade it. I had a great short actually yesterday on Tesla. I forgot to screenshot it, but I did the exact same short as Mama Bear did on Tesla.
Oh yeah, so I was looking for that Mama Bear's trades, but I was not able to find it out. Can you just show me where it is?
See, I mean, it was in the chat room from yesterday. It's like yesterday morning.
It's in the boiler room?
Yeah, in the boiler room. Here, let me.
Okay, then I will find that.
Eric, was that from Mama Bear's trades? Were those from pre-market or a regular session?
Hey, it was
Hey.
it was right at the open. She took a short on
Couple of them, right? Couple of big caps?
on Tesla she did, and then I think she was trading some small cap. But on the first trade on Tesla, I took the exact same trade with her, just by
Nice.
chance. And
Nice.
yeah, Jay said she made 10 grand or 5 figures
Oh, wow.
first trade.
So was that option or stock? Stock, right?
It's on stocks.
So she went all in then because I'm curious if she just like slammed like 5,000 shares.
Yeah, that's something like that. Here, let me try.
That's
to-
conviction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was stalling.
Oh,
What you can sometimes see is stocks start to slow down. You know.
well, that's the nice thing about big caps, is that like this morning I took the trade on Apple, and you're able to get filled with a large amount of shares quickly
Yeah,
on either side.
yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, a couple thousand shares or even 10,000 shares is nothing on big caps.
Right.
I mean, it depends on the stock, but yeah.
But the big ones, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, and all that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's nothing, you know, because those things are really liquid.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it was all the way yesterday. I'm looking for it. I'm like trying to scroll up. you know, every day there's like so much chit chat. But yeah, so let's see yesterday. This was one of her trades, which I thought this was pretty interesting because she's adding, cover, adding. Like this is running against you. But it's
Oh
not
yeah,
very.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, yeah. So this kind of trade, I mean, see, they're building a position there and then covering, right?
Yeah, and then cover exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it is a little bit tough for me to, I mean, accept that.
But Jay says he starts like lately he's been starting at like 1/20th of the size. So let's say he's normally risks $1,000 on a trade, which sometimes he does more. I remember the other day, few weeks ago, he like maybe it was like a month ago or something. He over added size on Facebook, and then he said he took a big loss. I think like a $7,000 or $5,000 loss, and I saw the picture of the trade, and it only moved $1. So he had like, you know, 5 to 7,000 shares of Facebook at the time. This is the short she did. I did this exact same one, which I wish I screenshotted, but I just didn't. But she held it better. I partialed worse than that. But yeah, see, it shoots up, it stalls, and you can start to see the change on the tape and the change on the tape, and it starts to fade down. You know, it's a quick move, but yeah.
So here at 10 o'clock, she covered more and let it ride all the way to 85.
I think she got out at break even here, and then yeah, she took another short here, covered, maybe covered it all, or maybe just let one share go against her. This could be the average cost right here. I don't know.
Okay, okay.
How do you do that for yourself, like with your hotkeys? Like sometimes I get a little tied up with, okay, this stock's going to be this amount of shares, this stock's going to be this amount of shares, and so I end up, you know, clicking a lot of buttons like, you know, slam, and then cover, and then,
Yeah.
you know, I'm wondering how you approach that too, where sometimes, you know, something I'm trying to build up to 5,000 shares, but like my hotkeys, like, do you have like a bunch of like some at 100, 500, 1,000?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, I
Okay.
don't. The way I do it is like, let's say I'm at 200 shares, and then whatever I decide if I want to add, you know, 100% more size or maybe a little bit less, and then I just like will buy 100 more, and then maybe I'll be like, okay, now I don't want 400 on this next ad. I don't want to go to 800. I only want to add another 200, so then I just go like that, and then I buy 200 more, and then now I'll be at 600, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of just do it right here like this. I don't have a great way of doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes
So you
if you
put
over
manual.
add, if you over add, then you get your position all messed up, too tight.
Oh yeah. Yep. Been there.
So,
Yeah. So you do it manually over there on the right-hand side. You have,
Exactly.
okay. Yeah. I haven't figured that out for myself either. I'm
Some
playing with
people
that.
do it based on buying power of their account.
Mm.
Like, I know one guy, he does like, he'll just enter the trade with $50,000 buying power, and then he might, you know, and then he adds another $50,000 buying power, you know, and he kind of does it that way. So it's whatever way you feel comfortable doing it, really.
Yeah, it depends. I think, like, let's say on a short side, and let's say with trade zeros, you've got like whichever amount of shares you locate, you can do percentage of your locates, if that makes sense. So it's like I've only like located. Oh yeah, I'm thinking of maybe, you know, using, let's say, round number 1,000 shares, like my max size for whatever ticker I located. But then if it doesn't give me, you know, and I've got like hotkeys, let's say 25%, I think, 50 and 100% of locates. and then you just like, depending on the setup, you either use only 25% of locate. So it's like you're not thinking like in numbers of shares, like, I'm gonna use 200 or 300. It's just like percentage of what you have located basically. And then every time, once you, let's say you already use like 25%, and then once you get your confirmation or whatever and you want to go full size, you just hit 100%, and it will add the rest of the shares that you located. So you're not oversized, you're still gonna be using only 1000 or whatever.
That's nice.
But that's like on a short side. And then on long side, I think it's the way you said, like, the buying power. I think there's an option as well to use percentage. I think you can do like percentage of your buying power.
Guys, did you want to go over anything in particular, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, I just saw that the Snowflake, it is plunged. They missed their revenue.
What was it?
The Snowflake. Yeah, snow.
What's the symbol for it?
Snow, S-N-O-W.
SNOD? There's
Yeah.
what is? I haven't seen this one. Holy cow!
270 to 194. Yeah.
Wow.
The result.
50-cent spread. Let's see.
Wow, I have not watched snow in such a long time.
I think
That is incredible.
I think you can stomach 50-cent spread on move like this.
Yeah, no, you can't. Dude, Tesla's the worst. Tesla, they like leave the spread super high on purpose, and it's horrible. You have to actually like watch the spread before you enter, because if you click the button when it says like the spread is 80 cents compared to 20 cents, like it makes a big difference. Because if you enter in too many shares on Tesla, and the spread is like 80 cents to $1, you'll like get in the position down $100 like when you're getting in or more.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this thing will probably be in play tomorrow. It probably had some bad earnings.
What is that? What is the trick?
Maybe it was earnings.
Yeah, it was earnings. Yeah.
Yes. No. The actual was down 43%.
There are a lot of tech companies have stocks. I mean, result today.
Best Buy tomorrow.
Best Buy, okay. Oh, Wall Street Boots. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we should have some good trading over the next couple of weeks, because we just have a lot of earnings coming up. And trading through earnings is the best time to trade. It's the most fun.
Did you just flash that economic calendar?
Yep. Let's see.
What's that again?
Yeah, this is a cool website, us.econoday.com. It's just the economic calendar. So like today, it tells you like there was the OPEC meeting, which is red, so that can affect the market. Motor vehicle sales, which came out positive, I think. So they give it a green. 10:30 a.m. petroleum report 11. They didn't. The Fed was speaking today, but they didn't say something. Yeah. And then tomorrow, looks like tomorrow's going to be pretty interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on. Fed balance sheet, at 4:30, which is going to be at the end of the day. So there's a chance that we maybe just chop again tomorrow. The jobless claims is coming out in the morning, so hopefully that gives us a little volatility to trade.
Nice. I think I've asked you this before. Like, I think you decide in pre-market what, like a, if you're looking at stocks, you could be looking at 100 big caps each day. And then you kind of narrow your choices down to about 3 in pre-market to see what's moving or what has news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I look for what is moving the most. And today, for instance, nothing was moving. Everything was inside the previous day range, which means no A+ setups. So I just kind of like will trade either Tesla, Nvidia, or Apple. I'll watch it, and then as I scan through this list, which is what I was saying to you guys, I'll like scan through this as everything was just pretty much boring, and then I see MU is moving and the volume looks pretty good relative to all the other amount of volume on the other stock. So MU, and then when I flip over to it, and quickly you can see if a stock is at least for me, I can see, like here, if I were looking at this in the pre-market, this is garbage. Like I wouldn't want to trade this. If I saw this in pre-market, I would say, no, I'm not going to trade this
Definitely.
today.
Yeah, that looks
Because there's no traders.
Nope.
Look at 5,000 shares, 10,000 shares. Like I'm one of those people.
Yeah, I don't want to get stuck in that, right?
Yeah, like moving a whole 5-minute candle. Like, okay, that's not a good thing to trade. But then at the open, you get 500,000, and then it was really looking good at the open. Whereas if you looked at Tesla, you're chopping here, shoot up, sell right back down, and now you're in the exact same spot.
Oh yeah, you're true.
Now you're down towards pre-market low, and what does it do? Shoots up. I think it shoots up. Not quite, but it's just chopping. So, and then also, like yesterday, when you like look at the 5-minute chart or the 1 minute, and you just see all these wicks on the tops and bottoms, that's just not a great day to be trading. And same thing here. If you just look at this and you're saying, okay, here's the opening candle, I'm gonna like draw a range right here. Like we spent a lot of time in this range, and this is what Jay says: don't trade, don't be trading here. We're inside the previous day. He's waiting for it, as he says many times, to break above pre-market high or pre-market low and then start trending. He wants to see a break above pre-market high, hold, and then get going up.
Mm-hmm.
Not just break out of pre-market high, and vice versa. You want to see a breakdown, curl back up into pre-market high, the blue dotted line, and then start to fade. And then now this thing can run. And with big caps, then one thing I was saying recently was use the Fibonacci Camarilla pivot points, because they can be a really good guide. These R3, S3, R4. So as you can see here, AMD, once it finally gets back above pre-market high, and now it's holding, it goes above it, and what does it do up here? It pulls back and it chops on it on pre-market high, and now you just start to curl on to the 9MA. Now this is starting to be a good trade. But when you take it long here, you got to look for daily levels above, and then also look, you got R3 right here, and then what does it do? It goes to R3 and then it chops right there. And if it settles on top of R3 and it's holding, there's a chance you can go to R4, which is kind of like a measured move. And let's see, what does it do? Doesn't quite get to R4, but you can hold, you can kind of hold your trade a little bit better.
And what's that yellow dash line up there that it rejected around?
Oh, that's just high a day. So that's just whatever the high a day is, it draws a yellow line there.
Well, that's a good indicator, though. I mean, you knew, before it got to R4, it's rejecting.
Yeah. Sometimes there's another strategy called just the high a day break. And if you're trading big caps and they get into this trend, for instance here, high a day break would have been, let's say this was high a day, this was the high a day break. And then it goes up and it actually worked pretty well, and then it pulls back. Now this is high a day break. So first high of day break sometimes can be really, really good. If you get a stock that's trending. But, you know, all I'm looking for when I go to trade is something that's going to start trending, because then I just go with the trend and the trades, you know, have a better chance of working. That's really it. Like if it's chopping, I just want to avoid it. For instance, like here on AMD, I was scalping at the open on it. Let's see. My accuracy was pretty low. This was like so upsetting. Well, it's not really that upsetting, but it's like a bummer. I shorted this thing here, and I covered a little bit. I think I added, and then I was like worried that it was gonna keep going up strong, and I got out at break even, and then I just like watched this thing fall, and I was just so much FOMO. But
I thought you would get in short right at that break of the 9 right there on that.
like right around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You usually do that, don't you?
Yes, I do sometimes, but this is like purely tape reading.
Okay.
So I was just watching it stall here. Inside bar, it breaks up, it doesn't go anywhere. It makes the higher high and a higher low. Another inside bar doesn't go up, and then now it's starting to stall. And I had a level right here. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna short this thing. And then I shorted on pretty big size, covered here, and then it moved to break even, and it pretty much got me out. So I like missed this whole leg down. And then I tried to do a couple of trades here, and then I longed it right here.
Good.
It was, you know, just for like a J-line curl here. It was stalling when it got here, and then it does this like fake move down, and then it buys it right back up. So it like tries to trap any short sellers right here when it starts to go lower, makes a new like 5-minute low, and then it did the same thing again right here. And then when I see it start to buy back up, I buy it, and then just partials, and then out at break even. And it really wasn't a great trade because it didn't work that well, but yeah, it could have. You know, this is a J-line curl that could have really ran. It just didn't do it that fast today.
Yeah, and sometimes when they're now that we have the whole screen with all the candles, sometimes it looks a bit different when it's actually happening in real time. It's not quite as defined. You have to really know, I think, the patterns that you've been accustomed to seeing over and over and over again to kind of anticipate what might happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like all I'm doing here on this trade. This is actually a really, for me, an awesome trade because it's an inside bar on the 1 minute, and usually we get like this 1 minute break up, and it's so strong that it doesn't pull back. It just goes and goes and then goes up. But right now, with like how many algos and everything that's going on, I think that the liquidity in the market is actually a little bit lighter, and the VIX is up, so these computers can really determine where we want to go, and they're just chasing stops, mind you. So it's like on this one, and this is a pattern I've been seeing over and over again over the past few weeks. It sets an inside bar. Then what it does is normally it would break in one direction, and then that was the direction you would be going. But right now it goes and breaks in both directions. And the direction it breaks first, which is lower, you don't short that. You let it like act like it's going to go short. It like starts to stall down here. Everyone's thinking it's going to be short, and then it starts to pull back up, and then it starts to pull back up more. And then as this candle goes from red to green, and now we're going to make a new inside bar kind of high. That's, you know, I'm looking to go long here with big size. And yeah, I mean, it's just a quick 50-cent move from here to here. But you do that with 1,000 shares, and that's pretty good.
Or you do that 50-cent move all day long, or 20 cents, 50 cents, 30 cents, you know, it adds up. I looked at MU today, you know, I think because after you had posted something in the in the boiler room. I mean, yeah, in the main room, and I didn't. I was like, wow, that has made such a big move, and it's. I was like, I don't.
Yeah,
It's so far from the J lines. I didn't find a place for me that I felt comfortable getting in.
yeah, yeah. It what happens is you think that it's not going to go higher,
Right.
and then it just like keeps going.
Yep.
And so, like I was saying, the R4 breakouts are really, really great to know that it has the strength to go further. That's one way to quickly just determine, like, if we're up here, this thing might pull back to R4 and then could keep going. So that's one thing. And then also, what I'm doing is I'm just like watching the ES, the market on just like a 15-minute, and when I was taking this trade around here, this is what we were getting also. And I could see that the market was grinding higher, and then MU was the best kind of performer today with its patterns and how well it was trading. It wasn't so choppy. There was a clear direction. Some sort of institution or hedge fund was accumulating and buying shares for, some move down the road.
Yeah.
So, when they do that and they're just buying 1 million shares today or 10 million, whatever that number is, a lot, they're buying all day, and that's what makes those things run. And so the market was moving up. So, with MU, you just got this really nice grind higher. And you could see from the price action, every time it tried to sell down, it was bought up. Every time it tried to dip down, it got bought up.
And on that, then you really just have to sit by the computer and you have to just wait for it to hit the 9 or a target price that you feel comfortable buying in at.
Yeah, or for instance here, I went long here. I took too much size. This is like I don't really actually like this trade because see, it's like makes the cup pattern off of the J lines, but then I'm buying the break of the cup. I should have been in like down here or closer to the 9 over here. So I didn't get in there. I was kind of late watching it, and then so I entered it, and then I was like, okay, this thing just ticks back 10, 20 cents really quick. I'm gonna lose a lot of money. So I trimmed the position quickly because I didn't. When you enter the trade, you're like, yeah, let's just make a bunch of money, and then you get in, and then you're now second guessing everything you've been making. So then I trimmed it, and then I just held the rest for here, got bumped out at break even, and then what does it do? It bounced off of the J lines. It rips up in 2 candles, like those are 2 pretty strong candles, pulls back down again, but now it's pulling back on slightly lower volume down here. So I just kind of took this as the J-line curl essentially that was trying to happen here. Sometimes you want to take it right at the J lines, but then it goes up and then it goes lower and then it curls up and goes. Where sometimes it's good to wait for like the second push down. Let's say you want to take a J-line curl, you don't do it as soon as it's bouncing. You wait for it to pop up, show that it's actually going to go back up, and then wait for that next leg or push down. And then once it fails to do that, like in this case, it did failed to go lower. I just took it long here.
Yeah. I like when they make like that one red candle that touches the J lines. I like when there's a big, strong green candle that gets bought up strongly.
Yeah, and that was the signal for me. That those buying green candles, when they can buy, here they sold it down, but then there was no sellers, or the sellers weren't able to do anything for 30 minutes straight. It was just buying.
Yeah.
So it pulls back for 10, 15 minutes, and then you still see the buying strength. And then I knew that it bounced off the J line strong here, and that was the only time it touched the J lines today. That's how strong it was. It touched it here, but the first touch of the J lines for a while was right here. So I knew it was pretty strong.
But then you got to stop it, right? Because then if you're buying in that 93.10 area, well, okay, let's say if you missed that and but then it gets hairy because then if you're buying that in the 93.40s, it
Mhm.
comes out and dips down. So it'll stop you out there. It'll go up. It'll come back down to where you bought it and go back up. To
Like from like 93 kind of 40s to up
Yeah.
to this here.
where your green candle is to the right.
Oh, here?
Yeah. Yeah, right where your green arrow is, where you bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around there. Like, if that's kind of the same thing as that previous move. You were saying, like, so it touched the J lines, no, down below where yeah. So that's kind of that situation that's happening there is kind of the same situation that's happening at that second J line push.
Exactly. And so like you just put a line right here, you put a line right here. It held double bottom here perfectly. I took this trade. I was scared on this trade because I trimmed it. But then when I knew it worked, and then it shook me out, and now it was going right back up again, that was my signal to give it one more try.
Okay.
Because sometimes it takes more than one attempt to work, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it did work here, then there's a chance that it can work again, you know? So, and I really should have bought it a third time right here, because this was another nice, just little scalp.
But then on this, you really got to know that you have to really have the determination, or that you have to made your mind up that you are just scalping, because it'll come right back down, stop you out, or break even if you don't take something off up there.
Yes, you have to determine and tell yourself, I am scalping, or I'm deciding to trade, you know, with on the 5 minute with a wider stop. You have to determine that in your brain, because
Right.
the thing is the moment you decide to take a scalp and then it starts to run against you and you're like, well, you know what? I've changed my mind now and I'm going to hold this thing because I just think all of a sudden it's going to go back up. And then now 2 minutes of it drawing you down and you were just risking a few cents, it can be a lot of money, you know? So that's one thing. I guess I don't say that often to you guys, but you always have to tell yourself in your head, I am scalping right now, or I am trading with a wide stop using pivot points as my stops. You know, when you're scalping, you're using like candles or a tight 9 or right off the J lines, you know. But if you're, let's say, trading off of 5 or 15 minute, however you want to do that, you know, use a pivot point as your stop or a level below, you know. So, yeah, you always have to determine that in your head, because the moment you're scalping and then you decide to hold for a wider stop and now you're letting the trade go against you, that will screw you up so badly. And I've done it so many times. So now I just kind of can tell myself like, okay, well, you know, I'm doing this size, I'm scalping right now, because I'm not here to give back any money that's just unnecessary, because I believe the stock's going to do something. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, if someone decides to dump this thing and I'm holding it with, you know, my whole account, you know, I don't want to take a loss like that. So you always have to tell yourself, I'm scalping right now, so I can I can partial fast if I want to. And if it runs against me, I will cut it lightning fast. And then if it sets up again, I can get in again and just scalp. The moment you take, like, let's say 10 to 20 scalps, then you just need to slow down, because you'll always lose to commissions doing that. But at small size, but yeah, you always need to determine if you're scalping or if you are trading with a wider stop. You know, I think that the way we all trade and what Jay teaches us, it's good to scalp a few trades at the open on small size, but then wait, especially in this market, wait till 9:45, 10 o'clock, 10:30 for that first J-line curl, where the J-lines are above pre-market high and the stock's trading above pre-market high and you're looking to go long, or vice versa. Then you want to start to size up and get risky.
Yeah, agreed. That's what I did on Apple this morning. I posted it in members trades. I was just, the only thing I was prepared to trade this morning at the open was Apple. I was like, that's my choice. That's what I'm doing. Even though I trade small caps, I'm like, I'm trading Apple today. And I missed the big stuff, but I was confident to take that. There was like a crack at the 9. And I took, 500 shares, and again, you just get, filled immediately. And then, once, I think at that third, cover, that last cover,
Yeah.
it started to buy back up, or it came back down, and I can't remember, but it was real quick action. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I am out.
Yeah, I couldn't believe Apple today because let's see what it was.
And then it chopped after that. And I know that when I trade a big cap in the morning, I usually just, or it's been my personal success. I don't know about anyone else's, but I just trade like that, maybe that first 5-10 minutes, and then after that, I'm like, okay, stop. Now what's happening?
Yeah.
Because they
Yep,
used
there
to,
hasn't there isn't anything set up at
no,
least right now.
no,
Usually, like you're saying, it used to tell you what was going to happen pretty quickly. Maybe you got some great trades in the first 10 minutes, but right now it's so risky to get a good trade in the
yeah,
10, 20 minutes.
yeah. And then it just did that after, and I was like, I'm not trading that. I was lucky. I was happy with the trade that I did, but I'm so glad I stopped, because I thought, oh, it's gonna continue down, and I was like, oh, you've made up your mind what it's gonna do? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I shorted it right here, held this thing, and then what does it
That was
do?
crazy.
It rips up and stops me out at break even and then does this. And I was just like, oh my goodness. I
Yeah,
couldn't believe the volume coming in and the candle. Like these two candles, it took 45 minutes, an hour of trading at the open to like set this range, and in 2 minutes, 3
Yeah.
minutes, it just like made that range like non-existent.
yeah. That was crazy. Thank God for hard stops, right? You're just like, risk management number one. Hello.
Yeah, exactly. I just have the hotkey that I just press my keyboard and it sets a stop. Doesn't matter if I'm going long or short. It
Perfect.
cancels all the orders, and it knows how many shares I have, and it just sets the stop, so I can do it in like a blink of an eye.
Yeah, you have to be quick with it.
Yeah, but I didn't actually trade this well. I like saw it kind of getting bought up off of the J lines and the 200, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this dip. And then what happens? It keeps dipping, and so I cut it for a loss. And then I'm like, oh, it's trading now below the J lines. I see, and now it's gonna curl and go down. So I short it, cut it, short it again,
Good.
cut it, and because it just wasn't. And then it goes back up. I think I tried to like long this thing, and then out of break even, I think I longed it. Oh, maybe I shorted it again here and shorted it again here, and then I tried to long it here. That didn't work, and then finally I shorted it here at the break of this like kind of chop here, shorted it here, and then finally got something to work. And this, like, all I need is this one trade to pay for this and a bunch of other trades. Because I trade with such a tight stop loss. Like you can see here, the moment it's not working, 30 seconds go by and it's not working, I just cut the trade. Because if I can just watch the tape and I can see it start to work and the volume come in. But when I get this trade and I hold it, and then I do a big add, and I can just scalp out, with this thing, what is it, just 20 cents, but I just take a big size here,
Yep.
just to scalp a bit out, and
I've done that. Yep.
yeah, it works well. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't trade the best today. I woke up, I saw that everything was inside the previous day range, and I knew that it wasn't a great day to trade the open. And then what do? I start scalping. and when I told myself before the open, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take it slow today. And then what happened? I start trading, and I'm like moving a mile a minute. So
Yeah, and then also Apple had that, a run as well, and I just couldn't figure that out. I was happy with my scalp at the open, and I just couldn't figure it out if it was going to make that run. And I was so mad that I didn't buy it at the J lines on that dip, on that curl, well, the curl, yeah, exactly, on that dip. And I was like, oh, but then, you really have to just be seriously watching it, because you don't know it's going to dip there, and you just have to have your eye glued to you can't take your eye off the chart. It happens so quickly.
yeah. The So here you got R3 and the blue dotted line, which is pre-market high. What does it do? It runs into it, it rejects, it kind of starts holding the 9 here, and then here's the inside bar on the 5, and then this is the exact move that I was telling you guys about. It makes it look like it's going to break down on the inside bar, and then what happens? You start to see it get bought up, and then it gets bought up some more, and then bought up some more, and then now this inside bar is breaking higher instead of lower, and it made a trap down here. So this is a great long opportunity through high of day. So this is like a great high of day break trade, and then once you're breaking through R3 and pre-market high, your target is R4, and you know, like let's say 166, 167, because you know that there's a huge amount of liquidity there on Bookmap, but that's how you can kind of use some of these levels. And then after that, once you're trading here and it's starting to trend above pre-market high, above the J lines, then you just start to use the 9 on the 5 to start taking trades off of it. So here, you could go long here, here, and we can just watch it. So it kind of bounces off, and now it's pulling back to the 9. You want to see it hold up on the 9 pretty well, and it looks like it is, so maybe take another starter with a little bit wider of a stop to just put a feeler out there. You know, with when you don't feel like you should get in the trend because you don't know how much longer it's gonna go, take it on like 1/10 of the size. Even though like, and still trade it with a, you know, a 5-minute size stop, you know. So let's say you just get in here with just 100 shares to put out a feeler, and then you're risking down here, you know, this pivot. So what are you really risking? About, you know, $30, let's say. And then once it's working, then you can start to, this would have drawn you down here. But once it starts working, then you find a spot where you can add big size. And then, you know, then you start to really accumulate a lot. But with joining a trend, there's a technique for doing it. And so you just got to figure out what that technique is based on your trading style. So, you know, for some people, it's, you know, buying the breakouts, which can fail. I think the best way to join a trend is to put a feeler out there and trade with the 9, which is, you know, what Jay will tell you.
I agree too. That makes me feel actually safer. I feel so comfortable doing that, at least for my style of trading. Yeah, I feel comfortable doing that. Now, on something like this, when you're thinking about joining a trend, especially on MU today, did you look at Bookmap and see, you know, check heat maps and see where support and resistance was, supply and demand?
Yeah, exactly. And what are they doing on Bookmap is what I'm looking for. Like,
right.
Let's see here. Where did I take the trade? I took this trade at 11, and I took another one at 2. So here it was at 11. So, and then every night what I do is I leave my Bookmap up and I go through Bookmap before I close it down at the end of the night. Because you can see a lot of what was happening. So I'm going to take the candlesticks off that I had on there. So a lot of green dots right here and a strong run up. That means on the time and sales here, there was just a ton of green prints, like green the whole time, you know. And then it pulls back, and maybe you saw some red prints, but these red prints are not able to move the price down.
Right, just consolidate.
So yeah, you see red prints, and you're like, oh, thinking, okay, maybe it's selling down, but it's printing red, but it's not going down. And then it goes up a little bit, and then it's some red prints, you know, and then they drop this thing here.
Yeah.
And so where did I take the trade long? Right in front of it. Because we were accumulating, you know, right there. This thing wasn't breaking down successfully. Could it have gone sideways and turned into like a range bound thing? Yeah, it could have. Very well could have. And it took out this liquidity zone. And what does it do when it takes out the liquidity zone? That's the next. And then also, yeah, when you're zoomed in like here, they drop liquidity, it takes it out. Drop some liquidity, it takes it out and goes up.
that big red, that big red liquidity. So they just pulled it back, or it was
No, it was taken
bought,
out.
taken out. It's bought by, right?
Yeah, yeah, it got hit and bought. See? They
Uh-huh.
hit that. So what you want to do with Bookmap, or, you know, just a thought with it is, when you look at big caps, I'm not sure exactly for small caps, but you look at the big cap, and what do we know about this when it took out this liquidity zone? It gobbled this liquidity zone up, and did it make a pop up and then a huge stuff and drop back down? No. It took it out and it wanted to keep going higher to the next liquidity zone.
So I have noticed many times, like, the liquidity like this, especially on Apple. I have noticed a couple of times, even I think yesterday or day before, price was at 165, and there was a big seller sitting over there, and Apple hit it easily. I saw there is a big buyer came in, exactly more than that seller's size, and then just squeezed in and then reversed back.
And then it was what?
It just squeezed in that liquidity zone, just squeezed in, just broke it, but then pulled back quickly.
So it popped up through it and then it went down.
Yeah, then it quickly pulled back.
Yeah, and so that's where you have to pay attention, because some days it does that. Some days it hits the liquidity zone and then it just drops.
Yeah, yeah.
Or other days it hits the liquidity zone, it gets above it, it kind of holds, maybe it goes and tests it a little bit to see if it's going to hold. You know, it breaks out. Like, here's the example. So we know we took out this liquidity zone, but we just zoom in here. What does it do? It breaks out. It didn't shoot up and then go below. It breaks out, holds, and then it rolls over in 30 seconds, mind you, and it touches this same level again. And then whoever was here, they didn't let it go 1 penny below. You know, they were here to play. So this thing didn't go below, it held it, and then it went up. And then so now I'm starting to see that, okay, we're taking out liquidity zones and we're holding and we're moving higher. And I know we're above pre-market high, we're above the J lines, we're above R4, this thing can get going strong. So what happens when we get to the next liquidity zone? Boom, takes it out at 90, goes up to 90.30. This isn't like a quick pop through 90 to 90.05 and then drops. This thing pops up. They scare you here and they sell it down. They let it go back through 90, but not much further, just 10 cents, you know, which is nothing. And then they let it go down here through 90 because they want to get every short seller in here that thinks that this thing's going to drop. And then what do? They buy, and now they're going to trigger everyone's stop losses.
Yeah, exactly.
That's short, and then now it will help them move the price higher for them. So see that someone was putting some orders here, putting some pressure. It went down to the same kind of level here. And are they going to let it break down? No, they're not. So you see that? And then now we're getting to some more liquidity right here. Takes it out. Here's more at 90.75. Is going to take it out. We've seen it take it out already. It takes it out and now it's holding. So this is not quite the example of taking out liquidity and stuffing like a small cap would. This is, you know, this is either someone's kind of limit order to get in, or they're selling here. But I think they're kind of buying here, you know, using limits. You know, they place an order there and they say, okay, if MU gets to 90.75, then I want to buy it because I believe it's going to go higher, you know, over the next 3 months. So in this example, it starts to pull back here when it takes out this liquidity zone, and it doesn't pull back very far. Doesn't even rest on the top of this previous pivot high.
Yeah, correct.
See that? Where does it go to? It goes right to the next liquidity zone. And now they're starting to prop orders below it. So that's when I start to question of like, okay, are we trying to attract it back down, or are these orders here that are going to buy this thing up every time it dips? Like, is this an algo that as soon as it comes down here, it's going to buy to push it up? or is this like to trigger it down? You know, are these people getting short and maybe trying to accumulate on the way down? So now we're seeing these orders here below. So we want to see the reaction when we start to hit these orders. So we can like zoom in a little bit more. This one took out this level 91 and then it stuck. So be a little bit more cautious. Let's see what happens here at this 90.72. Oh, they're buying it right back up to 91.
Yeah, and what's amazing is all day I kept going, when is this thing gonna dump? When is this thing gonna dump? And instead of getting on the trend, right, I just made up my mind it was gonna do what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, and sometimes that's when I trade the worst, is because I'm like, oh, I thought that we're at a war with you know, so it has to go down, right? No, it doesn't. The market has been so strong the past few days, and Thursday, Friday of last week, it was so strong. And this is like mid-war. So Thursday and Friday, I was trying to short, and then I saw how strong it was. I still ended up green on the day because I switched my bias. But then this week, I knew, okay, I can try some shorts, but we might have a strong market here that can move higher, seeing that we did that on Thursday and Friday. And also, you know, if you do a decent little analysis of the ES, okay, when we dipped down here and everyone was like freaking out that the market was crashing, let me get some lines. We hit here 42.15. It bought right back up this day, and then what did it do? It chopped here 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days. So essentially like 5 days we were in this 4,300 price range. And then what happened after 5 days of that? It ripped up to 4,500. Okay, and then now it double topped. Now the market moved actually lower than the 4,200. And what does it do? It bought it right back up. It bought it right back up again to this orange line. The orange line, so you guys know, is a value and point of control line. So this is where the most shares have been traded when we're looking at this like one at a time.
That's good to know.
See, you see that black line right there? That's my value and point of control. And so I could delete this and just, let's see, like, we can see it like kind of moving.
So what are those other orange lines? They are the pivots?
What?
The other orange lines, are they the pivot lines or the levels you drew it?
No, these are just levels I'm drawing. Because if I zoom back out, what I'm looking for are these levels here. You see this line? Right here, here,
Yes.
and here. This means that this is how many shares were traded at this price. Not the candle volume, but the volume of the price. You guys know that, right?
Yep.
And we can tell that we spent and we traded a lot of volume at that price. So I'll put a line there. Then I'll also put a line kind of on these like pivots. So the way I plot my lines is on the pivot lows or highs. So like pivot low here, here, and then that one doesn't quite count, but I'll put a line right there, right? And then I also look at this volume by price. So we spent a lot of time in volume here, we spent a lot of time in volume here, and then this black line here on my chart, it puts that there for me. But if I move the chart, it will move. So that's why I put a line on top of it like that. And then I just kind of like color code the line orange for like it's a heat map on Bookmap. I know that this is the heat map. Kind of almost. But yeah, and then what I was saying was we dipped lower here on the ES, and what does it do? It does the exact same thing it did here. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days at 4,300, chopping around. 1 day, 2 day, 3, 4, 5 days, we're just like chopping around this 4,300 area. So what do I think is going to happen? I mean, obviously I don't know. Otherwise I would be making a lot more money, but you know, based on this, it ripped up here to 4,500. So if we chop here, then there's a good chance if we get through this VPOC, volume point of control, we could easily get back up towards this 4,500 area quickly. You know, it did that in 1-2 days. So, you know, Thursday, Friday, this thing could just get some legs and start running. So we'll see what happens. It depends on the news and how the market digests it. But this could have been the low. This could have been the low.
Yeah.
Because I was reading statistics about like how the stock market reacts to, you know, other countries at war, and our market doesn't get affected that much, only by a few percent overall. Which this was more than a few percent, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't affect it too much. So this could have been the low right here. This could have been the dip of the low, but we'll see. You know, Jay will tell you don't be taking any trades here because we're still well below the daily J lines. You know.
Right. So the daily J line is also same number, right? 70 to 89, correct?
Yeah, 72.89 on every single chart.
Okay.
And look at how well they worked. Look, if you would have shorted it here, this is where it rejected. If you would have shorted it here, this is where it rejected.
Yeah.
The way that some of these like pivot lines work is, you see how like this is at this price right here. Well, it doesn't mean that the candle will just run right into it and stop to the penny and then go down. It's like an area. So, you know, it might get through it, and then once it's above it, everyone that's trading above it, all the institutions and algos, they start to say, wait a second, guys, volume point of control, where we traded the most volume, is below us now. So we're actually trading, and this might be overpriced. You know, it's like if you're at an auction. I don't know if you guys have ever been to an auction with farm animals or with a car. You know, like they have a like where they auction off cars. You know, maybe you've seen on TV. But that's exactly what the stocks are doing, and everyone was willing to pay $4,540. But the moment it got up to, you know, 4,590, there was no more people willing to buy. And now that means that maybe in this auction, it's overpriced. So what happens? They start to bid it lower. Oh, I'm selling, you know?
Yeah.
And then once it gets to a certain point, they're saying, okay, maybe this is cheap. I better start buying. And then they start buying it. So the volume point of control is extremely important when you don't know where we're going. You know, we're not in just this normal bull run of every day you wake up and stocks are moving higher. You know, right now, it's trying to figure out where to go, and we're being guided by computers, and that people have programmed, and that's
And
where
big
these value
money.
zones are. What? In Jalen?
No, I said, and big money looking for long-term future moves.
Yeah.
So some, like MU, like, you know, they can hide short positions. They can, you know, they go long. I'm like, you know, and they're doing it across the board, right? And thousands of accounts all over the country, all over the world. And so you're like, I don't know what they're preparing for.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very, you know, leverage, mind you. Let's say you want to invest $1 million. Well, you could buy the shares on cash, or you could put it all into options, and then now you're controlling like what's the option margin. You know, you're controlling not just $1 million, but maybe $50 million.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're putting now the guy who's got $1 million account is putting $50 million worth of liquidity into the market. You know, it makes a difference with all this, and with all these computers and stuff, moving the price up, down, you know. So we'll see what happens. I think that we're getting here at the height of this range. It was chopping here last time. If it does the exact same thing as last time, it will go back up here. And the only reason why I think it will do the similar thing as last time is because these computers are doing the same exact little tricks. And if you can start to spot them, then, you know, you can use it to your advantage. It's a clue. And it's the same thing I was showing you guys with the inside bar break. you know, it goes like it's going down and then it breaks up. And that's something that happens every day or every other day, depending on the stock. And maybe it will work for just a month or two and then go away. Who knows, you know? So that's where it's really important to go back on the charts and look for little clues, because when you start to spot a clue, then you can start to trade off of it. And then the next day when you're trading, if you see it again, you're going to say, oh, wait, I saw this last time. Because you want to use the mistakes or the things that they're doing to your advantage.
Yeah, all you want to do is be on the right side of the trade.
Exactly. And then have the risk to size it up, you know, and to trust it.
Yes,
That's hard to do.
Yep, over time, practice. And I save for those good days, like when small caps are just not trending, and you know, I don't just go, I'm gonna go all in, and in big caps they're trending like crazy. But on the big days, on the big moves, on the, you know, where it's just super volatile or a major trend in either direction, that's when I'm like, okay, I've saved for this moment. And I've been kind of, you know, stepping away from just trying to take every trade or every small cap or chasing everything, and using that time to study and learn. And then, you know, when I've got the setup that's like a tremendous setup, then I'm like, okay, good. Now this is in play.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to do it.
But it's hard
because, you know, by controlling yourself and kind of knowing when to size, that's like half the battle. You know, people who are like learning how to trade, you know, a lot of us here, we learn the setup from Jay, then we start to see the setup happening, then now we're starting to trust it. But then after that, you got to learn how to size that setup.
Yeah.
Or how you're comfortable with it. You know,
Yeah.
not just full size every single time you see it. You have to make some decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So. Anything else, you guys? This was a pretty good week of trading the past couple weeks for me. I've just been kind of, I'm testing out new things too, so I'm like, some days I'll just give back some money on the day, but overall, it's just been pretty awesome. I told you guys before, I've been trading off the 5-minute a lot more, and that's been really nice.
Have you tried the 10 or 15 minute?
I tried. You know, I was following this guy, and he trades off the 3-minute and the 10-minute, and I thought that was kind of cool. I tried it, and it works. But I don't really need to trade off the 10 or the 15, because all it's doing for me is widening my stop.
Mm-hmm.
And when you trade how I've been trading over the past years of 10-second charts and 1-minute candles,
Going tight stop.
5 minutes is like a huge stop for me.
And now you used to just only trade long. Now you're doing a lot of shorts, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Nice.
yeah, but it's been pretty good.
Yeah, Eric, have you ever tried Spy on Bookmap?
Yeah, I used to. I don't really follow it anymore. I just kind of watch the 15 on the market, but I used to keep it up just to see like where the liquidity was.
Yeah, for me it is very difficult to read Spy in Bookmap.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can provide some benefit. You got to be able to read Bookmap the way I was kind of mentioning it, of if it's taking out liquidity zones and moving higher, or is it hitting liquidity zone and getting stopped. So I mean, if you can. No,
I mean, it is a general question. Like, I mean, it is very difficult for me to read the Spy in Bookmap. It is, I mean, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, maybe we had to ask to Jay, maybe some webinar.
I mean, it can give some clues, but really you're just kind of following the direction.
Yeah.
I just leave my ES like I got a chart to the side on another screen, and I just leave it literally on the 15-minute. I don't watch it on the 1 minute or the 5 minute because it's too much like up and down, and then I'm kind of like, oh, it's going up, no, it's going down, oh, it's going up, you know, that's too much. So I just pay attention to the 15-minute direction,
Yeah.
and that's just how I watch it. And then I'll see the next candle, okay, we're going up for, you know, to make a new 15-minute high, which is a significant breakout. And then, you know, today we're getting all these like topping wicks, so someone was trying to sell into it.
Does Jay watch the ES on the 15-minute or longer time frame, like an hourly?
I'm not sure. I'm sure he's probably got a couple of them. He's always paying close attention.
Yeah, to the ES, absolutely. But you like the 15-minute, that's working for you as a guide during the day, during the market hour?
It's a guide, exactly.
Okay.
You know, if you want to be, and this is for big caps, but if I'm going to take a trade on MU, and because it's going up, you know, above pre-market high, is also the ES going in that direction? And that is, you know, a big deal, because if you're trying to take it long and the stock is going, but then the ES is going down, there's a higher probability that it won't work out. So I'm just paying attention to the 15-minute direction.
Yeah, so I read about that, not read. I saw somebody was explaining in YouTube about that. So all these stocks, they just wait for either ES or SPY to make a move, and along with that move, they will buy the big caps like, you know, AMD, Tesla. So the first move will happen on SPY and ES. Then immediately, within a couple of seconds, the programs will start buying it. Especially in Tesla
Yeah.
and MU. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where, like, if you watch it, you'll see they move exactly together. And
Right.
sometimes, but sometimes there is latency. Like, for instance, let's see, because it happened today and I was paying attention to it. I can't remember if it was on AMD or on Apple. But you see how I took it short here and I got this move partials down here, and I took it short here. Oh no, I was long here. Okay, what was happening was this. So I was looking for the curl on the J lines here. I got some partials, and then it starts to drop really fast. And I see here, this is at 10:05, okay? And then I see on the ES, when I go glance at it on the 15-minute, what happens at 10:05, 10 o'clock, 10:15? It's dropping. It's making a new 15-minute low. It's, you know, it's rejecting pre-market high, and it's starting to drop. So I get stopped out of the AMD. I see that the ES is dropping, right? But then I look at Apple, and I noticed on Apple here, it hasn't started dropping yet.
Okay.
I mean, so you got like 30 seconds to make this choice.
Yeah.
And then what you do is, so I took it short right here because I saw that AMD already was dropping. I knew that the ES was dropping. Apple, which is, when you pay attention to Apple compared to the ES, it's pretty strong. Apple can guide the market too. You know, Apple does whatever it wants to do. I mean, it will go with where the direction the market's going, but let's say that market sells off really hard, maybe Apple won't sell off that hard. You know, Apple will stay and trade better. So I had, you know, 30 seconds to a minute to make a choice here, and so I shorted it, and I got covers all through here.
Yeah.
You know, just a quick, what is that, 60, 70 cents, you know, out of it. So nothing crazy, but yeah, so that's where you can like see that it was dropping on the ES. AMD responded quickly to that, and Apple I saw was hesitating and starting to sell down like this, so I had time to make that choice. And then you can use what you're seeing as a guide, in the direction, you know. And I mean, it was just a quick scalp, but and it still went much higher, but it just goes to show.
So these are all algorithmic driven, right? See, if Apple goes, no, if ES goes this then by Apple. So right, so it's all bought, right?
It's all bought or a bot.
Yeah, I mean it's all algos, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it is.
Yes, yes. So I notice many times. Sometimes, I mean, Thursdays, 2 o'clock, there is some Fed meeting. News is coming exactly before the news hits in the market. Exactly at 2:01 or 2:02, there is a pop.
Mm-hmm.
The news hit, the news is not yet there, so it pops
Yeah.
just before, and nobody read the news, nobody hear the news, but it is an event.
Yeah, no, it's because they do that to prepare to react. So they try to, it's like setting a trap before
Yeah.
the actual news comes out. Like
Yeah.
sometimes if the Fed speaks, it's going to be bad news.
Yeah, yeah,
And maybe they've got it like the info a minute or two before, and then you'll see the algos will buy up and squeeze really high
and from the dog.
to shake everyone, and then all of a sudden they short it. So everyone that was going short gets stopped out as they buy it up and it hits their stop loss, and then there's no more people shorting. So then what do? They move it down really fast with the bad news, and now all the buyers get shaken out so that they get taken out, and then now the stock can move easier. You know, they don't want too many people in the trade with them, because let's say we're all in the trade with them and we believe it's going up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take a partial here. Remon's going to take a partial next minute. Janine's going to take a partial the minute after that. You know, we're creating selling resistance when they want the stock to go up. So what do they try to do? They try to get us out of the market, try to shake us out.
Yeah, they are just liquidity hunting.
Yeah, so I mean, you can be mad at them, or you can appreciate that they're doing a good job. So, you know, it's just your point of view. And the more you start to kind of accept what they're doing, and you look at it and you try to think how they're thinking, then you can start to really use it to your advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you were saying, like at certain time frames, they'll there'll be a spur of buying or selling, like here at 11 o'clock, like to the penny. As soon as it hit 11 or 11:01, this thing was just buying up like crazy, and it had nothing to do with maybe where we were or what was happening. It was just doing it at the time at 11 o'clock exactly.
Yeah, maybe we can find out some patterns, like, I mean, what time is the buyers, I mean, biggest candle is forming. Maybe it can be repeated over the time.
Oh, Zoom was perfect today, you said top tip.
Soon they have result yesterday. It was not good. So Zoom is out. I think it is a COVID stock. So Zoom is done.
Yeah. Zoom is not as good anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really take these trades long on a stock like this, because every time it will get popped up, there's gonna be so many bag holders that are gonna sell into it to cover. You know.
So do you have that blue line is your line in the 1 day period is your 200 EMA?
That's VWAP.
Can you put your 200 EMA?
I think it's right here, the pink line.
Okay, can you just go back to the hourly also? I mean, just go back to hourly.
So this pink line is the 200.
Yeah, so the hourly in 200 is a very good guide. It gives you the exact direction where it is going. See?
Yeah. If you were to short it on any of those, that'd be great.
Right. If you had just 1 or 2 months ahead of puts, wow. Yeah, yeah.
And that's where actually I've been working on some of my kind of swing trading.
Okay.
Sometimes if let's say I don't know what direction it's gonna go or how it's gonna work, maybe I'll just take like even just one share, you know, not because it's for the money, but just to learn.
Yeah.
And you know, That's a great indicator. You know, just trading off of that.
Yeah. So, and this thing I noticed with Amazon, Tesla, this 200 period with 1 hour is exactly working.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, you know, that's what I think Jay does is he finds what is working. Like he was using the J lines on cryptocurrencies on the 4-hour chart specifically because he found that the J lines were working really well when you looked at the 4-hour time frame.
Okay. Okay.
So if you look at the 1 hour, the J lines weren't working that good, or in other spots. But if you look at the 4-hour, he was seeing it line up really good on
Okay.
the cryptocurrencies. So it's really about, you know, choosing an indicator you like and then saying, okay, well, where is it working? It's not always going to work on the 1 minute, 5 minute. Maybe at times it's working on the 15, whatever it is, the hour.
I still remember. I think the previous quarter result in soon. So I bought just one put that was very far away put, and I bought for I think $70. $70. So the conviction was it was just below the hourly 200. The Zoom was just below. They had a very bad result. I just held it for the next day for the results. I mean, after result trading. So they dropped a lot. I think they dropped 40 or $50, and that my $60 put next day sold for $800.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So only conviction was 200 period and 1 hour. But now I don't do. I mean, I don't do because I mean I'm focusing only on day trading now, so I don't swing anything.
Not at all, you don't anymore?
No, not at, I don't swing it. I don't swing now. Yeah, because I mean,
What I've been trying to do is that when I get into these really good positions,
Yeah.
I try to leave some shares to hold. Like for instance, like on MU today,
Okay.
you know, look at I got in here.
Right.
If I would have just led, you know, and it doesn't have to be any significant amount, you know, 10, 20, you know, shares just run for 100, you know, this position at 89 bucks, this
Okay.
thing might not come back here for a few days, a week, might not come back there at all.
Maybe, yeah. So they have result coming in 20th of March, I guess. So maybe if they have a good result, it will fly.
Yeah. And then like the other day with Tesla, a few days ago, where did I short it? It was like here on this day. I
Okay.
shorted it at right here at like 850, and I just like kept one share left because I'm like, I'm gonna let this just one share go, and then it went all the way down to 700.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had a meeting on the same day, right? You were asking so what to do.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it was a great swing trade.
yeah. So why I don't swing it? I mean, swing is couple of reasons. One is like I mean, it will mess up my statistics daily I'm maintaining, right? So if I have any swings, that stats will get messed up. And the other thing is, of course, I will swing in future. So let me have some good consistency and good confidence level. Then I will do it.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Anything else you wanted to discuss? Some of you guys need to get some mics because you know it's more fun to talk with everybody.
See, and one more thing is, I mean, now I don't have any overtrading because now I have a very small account I'm doing. So once I have taken one trade, my trade is done. So perfectly, I'm not losing money now. So I mean, now I identified one more reason why I was not consistent because I was overtrading.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, I was overtrading, and I exactly know I was making money and giving back.
Dude, yeah, me too. I mean, that's
Probably think, oh,
that's
this
the
is
name
brilliant
of my
idea.
trade. I make
Let's
a lot
do
of money
fucking
and then
United
give back
Nation shit
too
and
much.
everyone has a
Yeah,
veto.
yeah.
But that's because I'm still improving my style. You know, it takes years to figure out
Oh,
Yeah.
what comfortable style it is, and but it'll come. I'm in no hurry. You know, I'm here to trade for many years. It's like was it Leo trades is he's been trading for like 12 years. You know, and he's like 60 something years old. So that's really cool because you can trade till you're like 80 years old at least, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Maybe with modern medicine, we'll be trading past 80 years old, but I mean, it's like the best job if you're old. Like, you just sit at the computer, you know, you're in a chair all day.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, guys, so let's call it a day, and we will reconvene on Saturday. Message me if you need me. And,
Nice one, Eric. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And
Great.
we'll try to get some special guests or something. I've been pretty busy lately. I got a real estate project, a new one that I'm starting up. So I'm gonna be a little bit busy, but I'll keep you guys posted.
So you're flipping, or how is that?
Both. I'm flipping, but this one I'm gonna turn into an Airbnb.
Okay, so I did flip a house. I mean, I bought last year and flipped on this January.
Oh,
So I,
nice.
yeah, but I have another full-time job, so I mean that job is keeping me so busy these days.
Ah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah, but that's good. You need to have good to have the extra income. But for me, it's real estate is where I make my money.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I have a realtor over here, so it's one of my close friends. He was asking me to, I mean, completely go into it. So I said, okay, no, not now. Because my first priority is just trading. Once good consistency, then I will take trading as the full time, and I will go with the real estate thing too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I would rather be a full-time trader than do real estate. But real estate, if you have like rental homes, it's like slow money where trading is fast money.
Yeah.
And you can always measure the amount of money you're going to get off real estate. So that's what I like about it. And I've just kind of grown up around it. That's what my family's always done.
Okay.
But
That's
yeah,
interesting. Okay.
trading you might have a bad month and it feels like it's the end of the world, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm just waiting for another 1.5 years. Let it come, and let's have a feeling how it goes.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
and if I
But if
can,
you're a full-time trader, you can probably start doing real estate because you'll have plenty of free time. That's what Kyle DC was saying, that it's
Okay.
like great. He does some real estate stuff too, and he was saying how it's nice because when you're having a bad day trading, you can go and put your mind to something else. But when you're just a full-time trader and you have a bad day trading, that's what you're going to think about all day.
yeah, just trade for half an hour or 1 hour, then get out of it.
I mean, if you can have the discipline to do that, then you'll do
Not
great.
yet, not yet. I don't have. See, if I had that discipline, then I will not wire out my money last week. So I mean, that is one of
You know yourself too well. Then.
yeah. So I
But
mean,
what's amazing is how we know what we're gonna do. We know we make mistakes, and then do we correct it right away? No.
yeah,
And it takes time to correct mistakes, and it's because kind of habits, you know, are kind of ingrained in your brain. And
right.
it takes time to build new habits, and it's easy to go back to old habits.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm just giving 1.5 year time for me to develop all the disciplines and everything to be more consistent, and then I will make the decision.
Yeah. Well, cool. That sounds good. Well, you know, if you think about swing trading and stuff, or any of you guys, Janine, if you start thinking about any swing trading, I mean, not really real size, but, you know, practicing, you know, just 1 or 2 shares here and there, let's discuss it more, because I still think that our intraday trading is really great, but there's money that we leave behind when we're not buying a few shares and letting it go. Like, I think about where I was trading 2 years ago. If I would have just bought on those days and just been holding till now, I'd be up so much. But with
Well,
trading,
I know. You know what? That brings up a great. We can just. I think we should discuss it for, in length and at another session. But I think that's so true. Where I've been watching, different traders, and one, very popular woman, long-term investor, was like, it never pays to day trade. It never pay, and I'm thinking, yes, it does. It wouldn't pay for you, but it does for many.
Yeah.
But she was like, it never pays. You're in and out, and it all is like a wash. And the only thing to do is to swing trade or long-term invest. And I'm like, well, I could say the same thing as long-term investors always back the same thing 2 years later when all their profits are taken away overnight, So but
Yeah.
I think there's a combination. I think it's really important. I started thinking about it. I'm like, because of day trading though, because of knowing how that price action works in day trading, I was like, oh, now I think I understand swing trading. Okay, let's do some of that too.
Exactly. And once you can trade on the fast time frames like we do, swing trading is so easy, So I mean, you just
Because we're
set it.
looking at the longer term time frames too.
Exactly. So let's discuss that more because
Yeah.
I think there's so much value in it. I know Jay kind of does it and Mama Bear kind of does it, but I wish there was a little bit more of it because there's just a lot of value, especially like, I mean, right now it's difficult to swing trade, they say, but as soon as we get into a bull market and we're running for 3-4 months straight and dipping off of the J lines, there's some great opportunities, and you just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Okay.
Cal
Nice.
Calford posts some nice like swing trades of his.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
exactly.
does
That's
really
a
well
great
on them.
example.
It's like, yeah, he's having as well like a shitty day or something, but like, well, my swings are up, so I'm still okay,
Yeah.
no stress.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, today, that's kind of what happened for me. I've got these long-term options on MU, and I bought uranium a while back because it's just something I believe in with the nuclear, it powering nuclear. And through this whole like war stuff with Russia, I mean, uranium has been so strong. So like in my swing trade positions today, I made like $1,000. So, and that's just like very small size swing trades. So there's just a lot of opportunity, I think, with swinging.
And I
So
think
what is the ticker for uranium?
There's a bunch of them, but the one I've been in, it's called UROY. This one right. These are my position. These are
Euro? Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
getting smoked on Roblox though. I'm like
Oh, oh.
holding it and like an idiot. And I mean, it's not that much money actually, but it's not a good trade at all. Like I bought it, I think at like up here, and then it's just been like slowly dying. But MU I'm doing really good on. MU has been so strong, and then UROY has been pretty good too. But yeah, I think that uranium is really important for the future instead of gas, and instead of oil and whatnot. Um, but that's a whole nother topic. So
I think
okay,
about this.
guys.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about this swing trading, and I'm like, sometimes when I'm, scalping, I'm like, wait, didn't I just like scalp this lower like every single day for the past year? Like, and now it's at this, like Mara, Riot. I'm like, oh my God, I had, I was swing trading those when they were like, I don't know, $8 to
Yeah,
$3. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and look at them now. But at the time, I also poo-pooed it. I was like, "Ah, I'm not gonna swing this. I don't want to hold this garbage. I don't want it, right?"
yeah. Yeah, no, so, but it's, I think, kind of like day trading, you just slowly learn it over time. And you start with small, like one share. One share, you can wake up and go to bed and not even care, right? You
Yeah.
start with that, you start to build some confidence in it, and then all of a sudden you can put size. And yeah, you can lose a lot of money in swing trading if you wake up and there's war tomorrow. But I think that there's great opportunity with it.
Definitely.
And it's nothing you don't know. You're trading off a 200 or you're trading off a 7289. I mean, it's not rocket science.
So I have a question. So do you guys use a margin for the trading?
if you want to short,
For my day trading, yeah, I mean, it's all online margin.
you have to. I mean, I don't think you can short without margin, right?
Yeah.
No, you can short cash, but you're not gonna like make very much money depending on the size of the account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, because I mean, my account is in BDT still, so I just.
You just have the cash account, so you have to use the options. But
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you're over 25 or 30,000, then you can have the day trading account.
Yeah.
It's like some stupid rules because I guess too many people started day trading and just losing all their money overnight. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you can wipe out an account so fast. I mean, if you want, I can show you how to wipe out an account in 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. 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 You know. Yeah.
Me too. Oh.
Yeah. So I can fund it, but I'm not funding into my account, so I just decided to let it go. I mean.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing because you're using smaller size to make a lot, and that's great. You know.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, that's a skill in itself.
Right.
You can use a $10,000 account and make $1,000 to $500 a day. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're making a 5 to 10% return on your account every day, or
Yeah.
on average. That's just so good because when you trade with a $50,000 to $100,000 account, you do the exact same thing, and now you're making $5,000 to $10,000 a day.
Exactly. So yeah, that is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the same way. Let it grow slowly. You know, I mean, so let it have the same consistency. Instead of, I mean, just funding and adding the numbers to the volume. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I could easily fund my account and trade much greater size, but is that the smart thing to do? No, it's not. The smart thing to do is for me to actually build my account, learn account building skills. There's a whole skill set in building an account. You know, you don't just win every day or win all the time and then your account builds. You have to strategize based on where you're at on the week. Oh, I don't want to give back this much this week now that I'm here. Oh, I'm this far up on the month. I need to make sure if I have a losing week, I keep it at this size. You know, there's rules for building an account, and you got to go through them to learn them instead of just funding it. And you know, because if you overfund it and then you draw yourself down, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I was thinking about I mean, opening an account with Cobra. I still have all the documents with me for opening account with Cobra, but I'm a little bit hesitating to go there right now because yeah, let me do one thing what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, you need 25,000 or more than 25,000 because if you go below 25,000, there's no more trades. So.
Exactly.
But okay, guys, let's call it here, and thanks for sharing, and I will see you guys on Saturday. Message me if you need me.
Sure.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
so much. Thanks a lot. Great session again. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Remen. Thanks, Janine.